Imagine waking up one morning and finding out that the most trusted car brand in American history, the one your dad drove, the one that never broke down, the one that basically invented the word reliable, is suddenly fighting for its life. Not from a scandal, not from a recall, but from a country that just 20 years ago was still figuring out how to make cars that could survive a highway. That moment is not coming. It is already here. And if you think this story doesn't affect your wallet, your driveway, or the next car you buy, buckle up because you are about to get your mind completely changed. Hey, this is Mark, and you're welcome to AUTOSAYS, the channel where we break down the biggest stories in the automotive world so you always know what's coming before it hits your street. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now and tap the like button, because this video is going to go places most automotive channels are too nervous to go. Now, let's get into it, because what is happening to Toyota right now is one of the most jaw-dropping financial and industrial stories of our lifetime, and it starts way before China ever built a single car. Go back to the 1970s. America is in an oil crisis. Gas lines stretch around the block. Detroit is pumping out big, thirsty V8 engines like there's no tomorrow. And then, out of nowhere, these small, fuel-efficient Japanese cars start showing up on American roads. People laughed at first. These things looked like toys. But then the gas prices kept climbing, and suddenly nobody was laughing anymore. Toyota, Honda, and Nissan walked into the American market and never walked out. Toyota, in particular, played the long game better than almost anyone in automotive history. They didn't just sell cars, they built a reputation so strong that the word Camry became practically synonymous with the word dependable. By the 1990s, Toyota was not just a foreign car company selling in America, it was part of America. And then they did something that genuinely changed the entire automotive world. They introduced the Prius. Now, a lot of people made fun of the Prius. It wasn't exactly the coolest car on the block. But financially and strategically, that move was absolutely brilliant. Toyota spent billions developing hybrid technology at a time when everyone else was laughing at the idea. They patented so much of it that other automakers literally had to pay Toyota to use their hybrid tech. Think about that. Toyota was getting paid by its own competitors. That is not just good engineering, that is financial genius. For 2 decades, Toyota sat at the top of the automotive world as the undisputed king of hybrid technology. And then China decided it wanted that crown. Here is where the story gets genuinely scary, and if you own Toyota stock or you're thinking about buying a Toyota, you need to hear every word of what comes next. China's automotive industry didn't start yesterday. It has been quietly, patiently, and very deliberately building toward this exact moment for over 30 years. In the 1990s, the Chinese government made a calculated decision to allow foreign automakers into its massive market, but only through joint ventures with Chinese companies. What does that mean in plain English? It means that every time Ford, GM, Volkswagen, or Toyota wanted to sell cars in China, they had to partner with a Chinese company and, in many cases, share their technology. The Western automakers thought they were getting access to 1 billion customers. What they didn't fully realize was that China was getting a 30-year masterclass in how to build world-class cars. And now, the student has not just caught up to the teacher. In some areas, the student is lapping the teacher. Chinese automakers, particularly companies like BYD, SAIC, and Geely, have developed hybrid and electric powertrains that are not only competitive with Toyota's, they're cheaper to produce, faster to improve, and backed by a government that is spending money on this industry like it's a national mission, because it is. BYD alone sold more vehicles globally in 2023 than it did in its entire history combined in previous years. Let that sink in. Now here is the part that should make every Toyota fan sit up straight. Toyota built its empire on one promise, that their hybrid system, the one they spent billions developing, was simply better than anything else out there. The Toyota hybrid system, the eCVT, the battery management, all of it was considered untouchable. But Chinese automakers have been investing so heavily in research and development that the gap is closing at a speed that even industry insiders find alarming. Companies like BYD have developed their own battery technology, their own electric motors, and their own hybrid systems that in independent testing have matched or beaten Toyota's efficiency numbers at a fraction of the production cost. And this isn't just happening in China. These cars are now showing up in Europe, Southeast Asia, South America, and yes, they're slowly making their way towards American shores. The financial numbers tell a story that is hard to ignore. Toyota's market share in China, which was once one of its most important and profitable markets, has dropped significantly in just a few years. China went from being a gold mine for Toyota to being a battlefield, and Toyota is not winning that battle right now. But wait, before you write Toyota's obituary, because this story has more twists than a mountain road in the Swiss Alps, let's be clear about something. Toyota is not sitting still, and this is where the story shifts from fear into something genuinely fascinating. Because Toyota's response to this challenge has been vintage Toyota, slow to react publicly, but quietly building something enormous behind the scenes. Toyota has announced massive investments in next-generation solid-state battery technology. This is not a minor upgrade. Solid-state batteries are considered the holy grail of EV technology. They charge faster, last longer, are safer, and could potentially revolutionize the entire EV and hybrid market the same way Toyota's original hybrid system did back in 1997. Toyota has reportedly filed more patents for solid-state battery technology than any other automaker in the world, more than Tesla, more than BYD, more than anyone. So while Chinese automakers are winning today's war, Toyota might be quietly building the weapon that wins tomorrow's war. That is a cliffhanger worth remembering, because we're going to come back to it. In the meantime, though, the financial pressure on Toyota is real and it is mounting. Toyota's profit margins in key markets are being squeezed. The company has had to accelerate its EV timeline multiple times, which is expensive and operationally painful. In 2023 and 2024, Toyota's CEO publicly admitted that the company needed to move faster on electrification, and that is not something Toyota executives say lightly. These are people who spent 2 decades telling everyone that hybrid was the right path and full electric was premature. Hearing that kind of admission from Toyota is like hearing a 4-star general say the battle plan needs to change. It's significant. And for American consumers, this matters because Toyota's pricing strategy, its lineup decisions, and even the resale value of your current Toyota all depend on how well the company navigates this crisis. If Toyota stumbles badly, the ripple effects hit everything from the used car market to dealership jobs to the entire supply chain that feeds into Toyota's American manufacturing plants. Yes, plants right here in the United States, in Kentucky, Texas, Indiana, and Alabama, employing tens of thousands of American workers. Here's a question that nobody seems to be asking loudly enough. What happens to the American consumer if Chinese automakers do successfully break into the US market in a big way? On one hand, more competition almost always means better prices and better technology for buyers. That sounds great. But on the other hand, if American and Japanese automakers lose significant market share, jobs disappear, local economies take hits, and the geopolitical tension around trade and tariffs could make car buying dramatically more complicated and unpredictable. The US government has already slapped significant tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles, over 100% in some cases, precisely because Washington understands what's at stake. So even if a Chinese hybrid vehicle is technically impressive and competitively priced, getting it into American driveways at scale faces enormous political and logistical barriers right now. That buys Toyota and American automakers time. But time is a resource, and the clock is ticking louder every quarter. Here is where we bring this full circle, because every great story has a moment where everything comes together, and you either feel hope or dread, and this one delivers both. Toyota has survived existential crises before. In the early 2010s, a massive recall crisis threatened to destroy the brand's reputation overnight. Millions of vehicles were recalled, congressional hearings happened, the media declared Toyota was finished, and then what happened? Toyota came back stronger, cleaned up its quality controls, and continued to dominate global sales charts. That is not a coincidence. That is a culture. Toyota's internal philosophy, known as the Toyota Production System, is one of the most studied and respected operational frameworks in all of business history. It's not just a car company, it's a learning organization that has built resilience into its DNA. So when you ask the question, is Toyota doomed? The honest and well-researched answer is no, not doomed, but genuinely seriously challenged in a way it has not been since those early days of breaking into the American market 50 years ago. The threat from Chinese hybrid and electric technology is real, the financial pressure is real, the speed of change is real, but so is Toyota's capacity to adapt, innovate, and surprise the world.
What you are watching right now is not the end of Toyota. What you are watching is the next great chapter of automotive history being written in real time. And the outcome of this battle between Japanese engineering heritage and Chinese industrial ambition will shape what you drive, what you pay, and what the roads of America look like for the next 20 to 30 years. The solid-state battery race, the tariff battles, the government subsidies on both sides, the changing tastes of younger American car buyers, all of it is converging right now, in this moment, into one of the most consequential competitions in the history of the automobile. And here is the cliffhanger you are going to be thinking about when you close this video. If Toyota cracks solid-state battery technology first and brings it to mass market before Chinese automakers can catch up, this entire conversation flips. Toyota goes from being the hunted to being the hunter again. But if Chinese automakers find a way past the tariff walls and into American showrooms before Toyota is ready, all bets are off. The race is on. The stakes could not be higher, and the finish line is closer than most people realize. Stay tuned to this channel because we will be covering every twist of this story as it unfolds, and you are going to want to be here for what comes next.